Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law through this channel. I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. If anybody's not aware of this, this is a journey of an investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategy called compound return investing. So the objective is try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades, we do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us for less than $9 a month, information is available in the description below. In today's video, we're going to be looking at MMTLP and updates with regard to Congress and the SEC. We're also going to be doing stock updates for MULN and GNS, so stay tuned for that. Before we get started, let's have a look at what's happening in the market. So first headline here from Yahoo Finance, NASDAQ slips and Dow is up after more inflation data shows pickup. So inflation did show a slight increase. So overall, we can see here from the Wall Street Journal, overall indexes were mixed after this inflation data. And further down, we can see the economy has overall held up better than expected in the face of the significant interest rate hikes from the Fed. And I think hopefully these have been priced in by investors, and certainly investors will be watching further signs of inflation very, very carefully in terms of what happens next. If we have a look at the heat map here, again, technology is taking a hit, communication services are taking a hit. However, healthcare and energy have fared a little bit better. I'm going to start by sharing a post here from Gary Gensler, who posted earlier today, companies are required to file registration statements, periodic reports and other forms through EDGAR. Anyone can access this information and research a public company's finances and ops by reviewing the filings through the company that it makes. So obviously he's also provided a step-by-step guide to EDGAR, but what I have done in terms of tagging in Gary Gensler, and I've stated here, using this EDGAR website, is there any reason you cannot add blue sheet data on here to obviously improve investor transparency? Or even if you don't want to do that for current data, can you add it on for historic blue sheet data? And that is for maintaining market integrity, because historic data is certainly has no impact on the current market. So obviously I know there have been responses in terms of this being too burdensome, and it could also lead to software failures when it doesn't work, or technically it could also be too difficult and time consuming. So special message for Gary here. There is a person by the name of Sam Draddy who he's apparently an expert in getting blue sheet data. And I think speaking on behalf of many members of the MMTLP community, we could certainly get together and start a GoFund page to pay the annual salary of Sam Draddy if he can share the historic blue sheet data. Of course, obviously, Gary, if you've got nothing to hide, or if you have something to hide, then I suppose you will not enforce the release of blue sheet data. And for further assistance, shout out here to Timothy, who stated there is a court document floating around somewhere, and it states that it takes 8 minutes to gather blue sheet data. So we are going to look for this court document, and if anybody can get hold of that, certainly would welcome to have a look at that. Timothy is also a 20-year computer engineer, and he could certainly write an automated system to gather and publish the data, so no humans need to intervene ever. So I suppose the bad side of that, it could put Sam Draddy out of a job. So I suppose there will always be an excuse. So in terms of the updates from the SEC and Gary Gensler, shout out here to Junk Savvy. So obviously communities are calling for transparency. We are not afraid to show ours. Are you ready to show yours to the Financial Committee? And obviously we are still waiting. The deadline here for Gary to make a response is on the 11th of August 2023. So all eyes on you, Gary. The next update I'd like to share with you is from Aldo, who's tagged in John Berda and stated, at Town Hall when I presented Pete Sessions with the MMTLP plaque, I asked him to please not allow Gary Gensler to give a "we follow procedure, nothing to see here" response. So Pete Sessions agreed, and I messaged him on the cell this morning to remind him. So I am pleased that Pete Sessions certainly seems to be on board. He certainly seems to be much more proactive in getting answers from Gary. So we would stay tuned for that. So let's get an update from Hollywood Henry and what he stated in terms of the third letter campaign. What we are so far at in terms of numbers is 3,000 1,560, so I'm sure there's going to be much more to go, and this campaign is going to look at supporting the House inquiry, writing their own letters and requesting an audited aggregate share count. So I think one of the positive things of Henry's campaign here was also the hand delivery of letters, so hopefully we can continue with that as well. And finally, shout out here to Sensely Nips, who's just summarized here in terms of the overall picture. We can confirm that FINRA ignored request of George and MMAT revised the corporate action around about November the 30th. FINRA then ghosted a meeting requested by the DTCC to resolve the uncertainty on December the 8th. This was actually confirmed by John Berder, and FINRA will not deny this, and FINRA also did not refer to this in their FAQs. And also FINRA allowed inaccurate and dated information to be posted when market makers got MMTLP trading. So again, I don't think this was properly addressed in the FAQs. So hopefully these are some important questions that can be asked for Gary Gensler, especially from Congress. Let's now have a look at GNS, also known as Genius Group. So headline here from Yahoo Finance: Genius Group announces the annual report is now available to shareholders. So this is good news. This was released today, and the shareholders can go to the website, get a copy of the financial statements for free of charge. And let's have a look at another important date for investors to be aware of, as in terms of a key reminder. The Genius Group is also going to host a virtual investor update with the CEO Roger Hamilton on August 17, 2023. So an important date for your diary. So let's have a look at how the market has reacted, and we can see here today GNS is up at time of editing at 53.37% at $1.25. So certainly we need a lot more days like these to get back to where this belongs, but certainly a great start. And finally, there was some news with regard to MULN Mullen Automotive. So headline here from Yahoo Finance: Mullen Automotive announces a 1-for-9 reverse stock split effective August 11, 2023. So that has now taken place. Let's have a look at the reasons for this. So obviously this has happened. First of all, the primary reason is to maintain and continue trading on the NASDAQ. So this is certainly going to benefit Mullen Automotive in the long term. They certainly don't want to go onto the OTC. We can see here in the annual company stockholder meeting on August 3rd, the company stockholders approved a proposal to authorize this reverse stock split within the range of 1 for 2 and 1 for 100, and the approval has been for 1 for 9. So let's have a look at further reasons for this. So obviously we can see it's to maintain compliance with the $1 limit, and we can also see at the moment in terms of the share price at time of editing, it was trading around about the $1 mark. So we certainly need this to go much higher to get that approval. So if we have a look at overall investor sentiment, we can see here from the chart, generally overall investor sentiment is still negative, and this is one of the reasons why obviously there has been a significant sell-off. Obviously we also know about the other factors that have been covered in the previous videos as well, but Mullen Automotive certainly needs some positive news. And finally, thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.